What if the birth of an entire republic depended on a battle that lasted only about 8 minutes? Welcome to History Hunter TV, where we go beyond legends to uncover the evidence behind history's most dramatic events. In 1836, a rebellion in a remote Mexican province created a new republic and changed the future of North America. To understand the Texas Revolution, we must first understand the land itself. In the early 19th century, Texas was not an independent country. It was part of Mexico. Mexico had won independence from Spain in 1821 and now faced the enormous challenge of controlling its northern frontier. Texas was enormous, distant from Mexico's political centers, and sparsely populated. To strengthen the region, Mexican authorities encouraged settlers to establish communities in Texas.
Austin helped establish one of the earliest major Anglo-American colonies in Texas.
Empresarios received permission to bring settlers into Texas, and Stephen F. Austin became the most important of them.
Thousands of immigrants eventually arrived, many coming from the United States.
They brought new customs, political ideas, languages, and expectations with them. But Texas was never simply an American immigrant society. Tejanos, people of Mexican descent, were an important part of its population. Mexican-born residents, Texanos, American immigrants, indigenous peoples, and other communities shaped the region. But rapid immigration also created political and cultural tensions. Many Texans had supported Mexico's federal constitution of 1824. They expected local communities to retain significant political authority within a federal Mexico. Then Antonio López de Santa Anna rose to power and moved Mexico towards centralized government. For many Texans, the growing concentration of political power was a serious warning. Disputes over government, immigration, military authority, taxation, land, and slavery became increasingly difficult to resolve. The political relationship between Texas settlers and the Mexican government was becoming increasingly fragile. Slavery was another major issue because many Anglo-American settlers came from slave-holding regions of the United States.
By 1835, political disagreement was beginning to turn into armed resistance. The first major confrontation came at Gonzales.
Mexican authorities had previously given the settlers a small cannon for protection against raids. When Mexican officials later attempted to reclaim it, the settlers refused. The settlers placed a provocative message beside the cannon: "Come and take it." In October 1835, Mexican troops confronted the Texan militia near Gonzales.
The Texans fired the cannon, and the Mexican force withdrew.
A dispute over one small cannon had become the opening act of a revolution.
Texan forces soon moved toward San Antonio de Béjar.
Texan forces surrounded San Antonio and prepared for a difficult confrontation. After intense fighting in December, Mexican troops were forced to surrender.
The victory gave the revolutionary movement control of San Antonio.
But victory created a dangerous illusion that the revolution was already being won. The Revolutionary Army was largely made up of volunteers rather than a permanent professional force.
Many men joined during emergencies and later returned to their farms and families. Volunteers arriving from the United States also joined the Texan cause. Texas had determination, but maintaining a disciplined army remained a major challenge. Then Santa Anna personally led a Mexican army northward to crush the rebellion. Inside San Antonio stood an old Spanish mission that would soon become the most famous site of the revolution. A small Texan force occupied the Alamo under William Barrett Travis, with James Bowie and other volunteers among its leaders. David Crockett and additional volunteers also joined the defenders. On February 23, Santa Anna's forces reached San Antonio. The Mexican army surrounded the Alamo, beginning a 13-day siege. Santa Anna ordered the Mexican flag displayed as a symbol of his determination to restore authority. William Barrett Travis sent messages asking for reinforcements. These appeals revealed how desperate the defenders had become. Only limited reinforcements reached the Alamo, leaving the defenders heavily outnumbered. On March 6, Mexican troops launched their final assault. After the assault, the Alamo fell, and most of its defenders were killed. The battlefield became silent, but the story of the Alamo was only beginning. Over time, the Alamo became surrounded by legends, while historians continued searching for evidence.
Letters, military reports, newspapers, memoirs, and archaeological discoveries help reconstruct what happened.
Look at the glaze on this piece. It suggests a late 18th century Spanish colonial origin, which aligns with the mission period. The discovery showed that physical evidence from the revolution can still survive beneath modern San Antonio. In 2026, archaeologists announced the discovery of an intact 4-pound solid bronze cannonball connected to the battle period. James Fannin commanded a substantial Texan force at Goliad. Mexican General José de Urrea was advancing along the Texas coast. Fannin eventually attempted to withdraw from Goliad.
Near Coleto Creek, Mexican forces caught up with Fannin's command.
The Texans were surrounded and eventually forced to surrender.
On March 27, most of the prisoners were executed under orders associated with Santa Anna's policy toward armed rebels.
The captured Texans believed they had surrendered under conditions that would preserve their lives. The event became known as the Goliad Massacre. News of the Alamo and Goliad spread rapidly across Texas and the United States. Goliad produced another powerful memory of sacrifice and loss. The Alamo became a rallying cry for the revolutionary cause.
On March 2, they declared Texas independent from Mexico.
Meanwhile, delegates were meeting at Washington on the Brazos.
The declaration announced the creation of a new political state, while the war was still raging.
But independence existed on paper before it existed securely on the battlefield. Sam Houston commanded the main Texan army, and faced an enormous strategic problem. Santa Anna's forces were advancing, and Texas seemed close to collapse.
To some observers, the retreat looked like hesitation or failure.
He's retreating, all right. Looks like failure to me.
We should be fighting.
Houston ordered his army to retreat eastward. He needed time to recruit men, organize supplies, and choose the battlefield. But Houston understood that preserving his army was more important than winning a premature battle. Homes and farms were temporarily abandoned as families feared the approaching conflict.
As the Mexican army advanced, civilians fled eastward in what became known as the Runaway Scrape.
The revolution had become a crisis affecting entire communities, not just armies.
Meanwhile, Houston's army continued to gather strength.
Santa Anna divided his forces while pursuing the retreating Texans. The vast Texas landscape made supply and communication increasingly difficult for the Mexican army. Houston continued moving carefully, waiting for the right moment. Rivers, forests, marshes, poor roads, and enormous distances shaped the campaign. By April, Houston's army reached the region near the San Jacinto River. Santa Anna's army also moved into the region.
On April 20, the two forces fought a preliminary engagement.
The two armies were now close enough that a decisive confrontation seemed inevitable. Houston studied the Mexican position and searched for an opportunity.
Santa Anna established his camp near the San Jacinto battlefield.
Houston decided that the moment had come to attack. On April 21, the Texans prepared for a sudden afternoon assault. Houston's army advanced toward the Mexican camp with surprising speed. The Mexican troops were resting when the Texans approached.
Shortly after 4 o'clock, the Texan assault began.
The decisive fighting lasted approximately 18 minutes. The Mexican army's position collapsed, and soldiers began retreating. A battle that had seemed impossible only hours earlier had become a decisive Texan victory. Santa Anna escaped the immediate battlefield, but did not remain free for long. In a matter of weeks, the balance of power had completely reversed. The Texans overwhelmed the Mexican position with extraordinary speed.
The following day, Santa Anna was captured.
The revolutionary government survived, and the Republic of Texas became a political reality. The agreements, therefore, did not create a universally accepted legal end to the conflict. Santa Anna later signed agreements at Velasco, but Mexico did not accept them as a final settlement. The agreements, therefore, did not create a universally accepted legal end to the conflict. Nevertheless, Mexican forces withdrew from Texas after the defeat. The revolutionary government survived, and the Republic of Texas became a political reality. The new republic struggled with debt, limited resources, and the continuing threat of conflict. Mexico continued to reject Texas independence and regarded the territory as part of Mexico. The new republic therefore remained insecure along its southern and western frontiers. A new republic now faced the enormous task of governing itself.
The Republic also faced complex and often violent conflicts with indigenous nations living across the region.
Slavery remained deeply connected to the political and economic development of the new republic. Texas leaders also faced questions about territory, population, security, and relations with neighboring powers. The Republic of Texas was therefore born into a complicated political and social world. The Republic of Texas sought diplomatic recognition and international support.
The United States watched the development of Texas with enormous interest.
The possibility of Texas joining the United States soon became a major political question.
For several years, Texas remained an independent republic.
But the possibility of renewed conflict with Mexico never completely disappeared.
The map of North America changed again.
In 1845, Texas was annexed by the United States.
Its towns expanded, its government developed, and its population continued to grow. A rebellion that began with a small cannon had become part of a much larger transformation.
Mexico did not accept the annexation of Texas.
The dispute over Texas became one of the issues leading toward the Mexican-American War. The revolution also demonstrated how geography can influence the outcome of war. The Alamo was a military defeat, but its memory became a powerful symbol of resistance.
Tejanos also played important roles in the revolution, reminding us that the conflict was more complicated than a simple two-sided story.
Private letters reveal the fear, uncertainty, and hopes of people living through the crisis.
People supported the revolution for different reasons, from political liberty to local autonomy and personal interests. Goliad became another symbol of sacrifice that strengthened the revolutionary cause. The surviving evidence allows historians to separate documented events from later legends. Newspapers helped spread news of the revolution across the United States and beyond. Maps reveal how distance and geography shaped the decisions of commanders and civilians.
Archaeological discoveries add physical evidence to the written record.
Many locations connected with the revolution still exist today.
Modern Texas is filled with places where the events of 1835 and 1836 can still be investigated.
Houston's retreat, once criticized, gave his army time to reach a battlefield where it could strike decisively.
The modern map of North America still reflects decisions made during and after the Texas Revolution.
So, what did we learn from the Texas Revolution?
We learned that the revolution did not begin at the Alamo. It grew from years of political conflict. We learned that military defeats can become powerful symbols, while strategic patience can sometimes produce unexpected victory.
It survived defeat and uncertainty and helped reshape North America.
Most importantly, history is rarely shaped by one heroic moment.
It is created by countless decisions made under pressure.
History can change the world from places that seem small on the map. That is why the Texas Revolution still matters. The Texas Revolution began with political tension on a distant frontier.
If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share it with others.